Hi guys, I am Gym Leader Dice and thanks for joining me for my first episode of Food Wars. It's in the kitchen where I want to discuss some important nutritional values. And today's topic is going to be convention food preparation. I'm recently in the process of packing up food to head out to a convention down in Corpus Christi called RimsCon this weekend. And right now my food budget is a little bit on the small side. It's a little sad right now. So I don't want to rely on restaurants out at Corpus Christi because with my diet and the fact that I am nutrition conscious as well as calorie counting right now for my diet, I don't really want to spend the amount of money that unfortunately the super healthier foods typically tend to cost at restaurants. I also don't know what amenities I'll be working with at the hotel and within the convention center. So the foods that I'm bringing, I want to make sure are pretty readily prepared, are easy to get by on just normal hotel stuff, and are not perishable or otherwise can at least survive out of a refrigerator for a little while, because I'm not sure how accessible keeping something on ice or keeping something refrigerated will be, or even how to heat it back up once I do. So I'm very conscious on what I bring, and I just wanted to go through a few of the items that will be traveling with me. It doesn't mean that I'll be eating all of these items. It just means that they are at least making the trip down to Corpus Christi so that I will have them readily available for if I need them. And this is also, I'm not telling you that these are the foods that you should eat, more that these are the foods that you should be thinking about what you like to eat and how you can benefit from considering similar foods. So one of the first few items that I'm going to be bringing is some fruits. Fruits that can survive out of a refrigerator for a while, such as clementines. Clementines are amazing. This includes most other oranges, mandarins, and stuff like that. They're packaged, so they don't get dirty easily, they can travel very well, and they survive outside of a refrigerator for quite some time, and they still taste amazing. So great nutrition here. I will be bringing a big bag of these. Another fruit that I particularly like that I have on hand is peaches. Peaches are pretty good outside room temperature, and they seem to survive for a little while too. And another one I don't have that I would like to have is bananas. I love bananas, so that's another one that is very good for outside of the refrigerator for a while. I also have these little fruit snacks that are dried apples. They have one apple per packet, and so that's also another way that you can consider consuming fruits, is getting some dried pre-packaged, or just getting a big package and pre-packaging themselves into snack-sized portions. As far as vegetables, not that I would suggest foregoing fresh vegetables or even frozen vegetables for something like this, but I do have some, I guess they're freezer dried. I don't really know, but they are whole pieces of broccoli in here. So, but I do also bring canned stuff that is easy to eat. Such as, we got some sweet corn here and some green beans, and these I don't need to necessarily warm up. I can just bottle open them, drain them, and eat them right out of the can. They taste good enough to me for that. So that's one of the things. One thing that's also pretty easy to consider for hotel rooms is prepackaged oatmeal. These things are pretty amazing, and they work really good under the little coffee pots that you usually have. You just want to make sure to clean out the coffee pot well enough that there isn't any coffee within it. But the hot water that pours out of the coffee pot is generally enough and hot enough to make nice oatmeal out of. You just got to make sure that you don't flood it out. So make sure you only put a little bit of your hot water into this, but then you actually have a very good warm meal. As far as not having a microwave at all, but still making sure you get some nutrition in, you can also consider tuna fish. These little lunches to go are pretty amazing because they generally package them pretty low calorie, 240 calories, and that does include the mayonnaise, the relish, the crackers, and the little peppermint that's in here. So that's a great thing from Starkiss. And other things that I typically tend to bring is some breakfast bars. These are pretty good because they are generally carbohydrate steady. So they typically provide about 4 hours of energy without feeling too hungry or too exhausted, and they generally run about 200 calories per breakfast bar. So I always bring quite a few breakfast bars with me. And then I also bring various other things. I'm not too big on protein bars, but protein bar is still a very good thing to bring to a convention when you're trying to avoid eating unhealthy, because they are still relatively healthy. You just got to monitor them. You don't want too much protein in your diet. But if you want to make sure that you're getting protein and you're eating otherwise, you know, breakfast bars and stuff like that, I think it's okay to consume a protein bar at that time. You know, same thing with like Fiber One bars or any other type of bar. I would just check what all it has in it and make sure that you're not doing something that's high calorie. You don't really, that doesn't benefit you any, but this one's 140 calories. I always make sure to bring some sort of nut mixes, trail mixes that are low calorie. Such as this one, it's a pretty low calorie, good blend of nut mixes. Some other ones that I have is like pistachio squares. And then I also have this really interesting crispy noodle and nut mix that is pretty good and has my nuts in it. So I'm making sure that I get good fat macronutrients, as well as protein macronutrients and a lot of carbohydrate macronutrients. And also never underestimate the value of just bringing a loaf of bread with you to an anime convention. Even if you're not bringing meats or other vegetables, this will save your life. So make sure that you get whole wheat bread at least. So always double check on that. And I think that's going to be pretty much it, other than I do also like to suggest milkshakes, not so much for weight loss, but to ensure that you're getting adequate nutrition if you don't think that you are otherwise going to while you're out at the anime convention. Because these, I have learned, if you just get ice out of an ice vending machine and just dump it into it and drink it, it tastes pretty good. Or if you happen to find a microwave, you can put it into like a coffee mug and pull it out and nice and warm. These don't taste good room temperature to me, but at least there's 2 other major options that are sometimes readily available at hotel rooms or in convention centers. So plenty of chances to eat plenty of food, plenty of nutrition, and I'm going to still make sure I get the right quantities of macronutrients. And that is my suggestion as far as what I'm going to be personally bringing to RimsCon with me. So hopefully you will take some value out of this, or maybe at least sparked an idea of what types of food you can bring to your next convention. Thank you guys so much, and I look forward to seeing you next week.